Archie Roach and Craig Pilkington, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you.
New album, Let Love Rule, which is a wonderful title for an album. Features songs about love and hope and strength and resilience. Was that the plan from the outset to have those themes for the album, or was it just the way it turned out?
I think it started the songs when I started writing them. It was like the last album before this was Into the Bloodstream, and it was a theme of healing, and so I thought that after writing the first couple of songs that would be the theme of love, yeah.
Yeah, because the last album was had similar themes, and you'd gone through a hell of a trot, more than any man should take, really, and you seem to have a lot of strength. Where do you find your strength?
I think the music has a lot to do with it. Music is an empowering force. My manager, but good friend, Jill Sheldon, she was there for me after bouts of illness and losing Ruby. So, people like that, friends and good friends like that, but yeah, it's just I've always felt that's how I've sort of always been. With my upbringing, I just thought, well, no matter what you go through, you've got to just sort of push through it. Yeah.
Craig, when Archie brought these songs to you to produce, what was your initial feeling about how you wanted to represent them?
Well, the process was fairly organic in that the songs gradually evolved from our pre-production sessions. So, each time we get together, Archie would bring along something new that we would sort of arrange or work on together. So it did take on a very organic approach, and I think where we'd gone with the gospel sound of Into the Bloodstream, I think I saw Archie exploring parts of his voice since, I guess, the physical change of having half a lung removed. Archie's bottom register was quite different, and I saw him exploring that in some of the songs on that album. So we sort of decided to take a pretty sort of soulful approach to that, and that really works with some of those songs where Archie's really sort of, I guess, using a gravelly approach to expression that's new to him. So in the same way that singers like Solomon Burke are very soulful, Archie's been exploring that expression as well.
Yeah. You guys have worked together quite a bit. How did you hook up initially?
Oh.
The first time we hooked up properly, apart from, seeing each other at sort of, industry things, was I made at my studio Ruby's album Feeling Good in, I think, the year 2000 or 99.
Yeah.
And, like a lot of records that I work on, I played a fair bit on that. So I went out on tour for the launch of that record. And then Archie came back to the studio a few times, and we did some demos, and we did, a Christmas song for an album and bits and pieces. And then we really started working together more full on about 2010.
Yeah.
After Ruby passed
not long
away.
after Ruby passed, worked on...
Yeah. Jen Anderson, it was the day of Ruby's funeral, actually. We were driving down to play with Ergo Lemos down at the Port Fairy Folk Festival, and we were listening to the Feeling Good album and thinking of Ruby, and we were discussing some demos that Jen had of a children's album that hadn't got off the ground. And we decided to work on a track and trick it up and finish it off and give it to Archie as a gift. And when she started going through that, she realised that all Ruby's vocals were fantastic, so we decided to to get the album up, and Archie and the family
That's right.
oversaw that process, and were spending a lot of time in the studio while we were doing that, and helping us finish it off. And yeah, that's when we sort of started playing together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. How different is it writing songs now, Archie, without Ruby? Did you used to sort of use her as a bit of a soundboard? And
Well, she'd always be the first to hear
Yeah.
any of my songs that I wrote.
Yeah.
And it's also, you know, but you know, it's certainly different, of course, you know. But you know, but like Craig said, going to the studio and sort of, and you know, he says, "Oh, well, what have you got so far?" And so I start, you know, I sing a song to him, and he says, "Yeah, that's good," and we work on it from there. But you know, like. Or Jill Shelton, he's at first now these days, singing my songs. But yeah, it's different in that respect, where you don't have, you know, somebody that you've known for so long, and you spent your life with for such a long time, you know. But you know, I think, yeah, as you grow as a musician, as a songwriter, you certainly know if something's no good, you know, or good, you know. So there's a few things that you discard, but there's a lot of stuff you keep. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a beautiful song on the album called "Not Too Late," and there's a beautiful video that goes with it. Where was that shot? That video?
Down home, where on my where I'm from, and my mother's from, down southwest Victoria. So we got a lot of footage of Killarney Beach, some in Port Fairy, and a place we call Tower Hill. We call it Tarara, but the English name is Tower Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that song. Not Too Late.
Well, it's a song. It's quite interesting though how, you know, like it mightn't have been there actually on the album. You know, it was just something that I'd written down the words, most of the lyrics. In this little book, you know, this little notebook that I had, and I don't know, I just wrote it down and didn't think much of it. You know, I said, "Oh, yeah, it's a good lyric," and I just couldn't seem to find any music for it. So I just let it go, and Jill Shelton, my manager, just happened to look at it one time and said, "Wow, these are interesting lyrics," you know. And I said, yeah, it's just something I'm mucking around with. And then she gave to Craig to have a look at, and Craig actually found the melody, the music for it, and so that became, you know, and it's became one of the first single of the album, and you know, it's a prayer for our children, our grandchildren, or for a better future, that they should live in a better world, where a world of peace, you know, where peace and love is a dominant sentiment. Yeah.
There are two choirs on the album: the Zungala Children's Choir and the Short Black Opera. From a production point of view, how tricky is it working with a choir, recording a choir?
Look, it's high risk, high gain. So we tried to create a situation. We went into the recital centre, to the salon, which is the sort of you know, a smaller sort of little hall that's got beautiful acoustics. But Deborah Cheetham is so inspirational to those kids that she absolutely gets the best out of them, and we combined it with a weekend of workshops that she'd been doing with those kids, and it sort of almost peaked with our recording at the recital centre. So the choir was in fantastic nick. They'd been working on the weekend, they'd learnt the song, and it was a really very special experience to have going on there. So there are two songs there on. One is Let Love Rule, the title track, and the other is a song that we tried in a few different ways, but decided that we'd have a go at it from scratch with the choir at the recital centre. So we set up, I was playing baritone acoustic, Steve Hadley was there on double bass, and we had the fantastic technical staff of the recital centre working with us, and Deborah in the choir. So it actually worked really well, and we actually achieved what we set out to achieve with fantastic results.
Archie, do you enjoy the studio experience as much as the writing and performing?
Yeah, I love it. Love it in the studio. It's like, you know, it's you're there, and it's a workplace. It's a place where I feel comfortable, and you know, just to finally, you know, get your songs down and hearing them back with you know, in production, and but no, I love seeing a song sort of develop. You know, how we just go in and just sing it with the guitar and a guide vocal. Although sometimes a guide vocal is good enough. You know, some guide vocals are just are just so good that you find it hard to see. I don't know if I'll capture that same feeling or emotion. You just leave that, but it's a wonderful process. I love it in the studio. Yeah.
I was talking to Troy Casadale recently, who's just released his memoir, and he was telling me about the first time he heard the Warumpi Band and Goanna, and how those acts really affected him. Warumpi because they were singing in language sometimes, and Goanna because of what they were talking about. Who was the first Indigenous artist that you heard on the radio or record, and did it have a big effect on you?
Well, the very first Indigenous artist I heard was Jimmy Little on radio, and then it had a big effect on me. You know, I mean, the fact that he was you know, an Aboriginal person, and you know, and a bit of a star, and it did. I thought, wow, you know, if, it's good to see it. It just you know. I didn't think about, you know, going to music myself or playing it, but it was just good to see you know, a person like Jimmy Little in that position. And then, you know, Lowland Rose had a few hits. You know, he was he was a boxer that had some great songs as well back in the day. Yeah.
Where and when are you most likely to write a song? Is there a particular room, particular time of day, anything like that?
No, it varies. It's never the same. It's you know, I'm not quite sure. It's just, you know, a song just sometimes you sit down and try to think of it, and then nothing comes. But other times you could be just sitting down watching something, or just sitting down contemplating, or looking out your window because I have this lovely backyard where I live down in Killarney, and you get up in the morning, and if it's a nice morning, and you see some beautiful birds, you know, jumping around, blue superb wren that comes visit every now and then, and you just get, that's when I think I get more inspiration, just from that, or just going down the beach, and I love the beach on a cold day, windy day, when it's a bit rugged and rough, and it just has this I don't know, this rugged beauty about it. Yeah.
Is there a particular guitar that has given you more songs than others?
The one I'm using now, I suppose. I use it most of the time. I have a couple, but you know, like I think I just the one that I'm using now.
Is it one you've had for a while?
Yeah, for a little while now. It got broke. It was given to me. I was back in, I think it was 2010, not long after Reba passed away, when they presented me with, I was Artist of the Year down at Port Fairy Folk Festival, and they presented me with a mate and guitar, and unfortunately it got busted up at the airport one time, and we were sitting down having coffee to catch waiting to catch a plane, and actually it was Craig they rang up and told him about it.
I've run over your guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit like Grandad's axe. They pretty much rebuilt around the neck and the headstock with the Port Fairy Artist of the Year, Archie Roach. So.
And it's Ruby's idea. Because they went and spoke to Ruby before she passed away. People from when Jamie McHugh was running when he was doing the Port Fairy Folk Festival, and they said, "Oh, what should we give Archie for Artist of the Year?" And he said, "Oh, give him a nice guitar." And so it's just a special guitar, yeah.
The album's out in November. What do you hope people get out of having a listen to it?
Oh, well, I just hope they enjoy it first, like the songs, and I suppose what it's generally what it's about, about loving and being a bit more inclusive, of people's, in particular our beautiful country, That's what I hope. But like people who come and see me, people that already know my work, would probably get that and understand that, and even expect that anyway. But other people that mightn't have heard my work probably get a better understanding of loving, and that's what the album's about. It's if not loving everybody, at least to be a bit more tolerant towards people's.
Archie and Craig, thanks for your time.
Thank you.